Hey guys, welcome back to Building Design with Nate Nader here. Nate Nader is me, for those of you who didn't know, and last episode we talked about some of the basic shapes which you can see in some of the houses behind me. I also dabbled with windows and door placement, which is part of the details, which we'll get into later. But for this episode right now, we're going to be talking about one of my more favorite things of building, roofs. So let's go ahead and get into that. So this building has a roof, obviously, but there's a difference between a ceiling and a roof. A ceiling is what you see on the inside. A roof is what you see on the outside. Now this ceiling right here is fine. It's pretty bland, but it's fine. Does its job. This roof is kind of bland. So let's look over here at a roof. Now this roof is technically a roof. It goes up. It uses one of the more it pretty much uses the very basic rule of making a stylized roof. You make it go up. Now you can have your roof go down if you wanted to, but that'd be kind of weird. Now the reason roofs are slanted is because in real life, when rain hits roofs, they go off. The water flies off the roof instead of situating itself on the top where it can cause water damage. Now this roof looks kind of bad. Now what could we do to stop that? We could take off this whole top layer. Not that one. No. And it's a little better, but it's still kind of crappy. So let's go with a more realistic roof, because when it comes to roofs, realism, honestly, is pretty much key. So let's go over to here, and this roof right here is a little more realistic. See, look at that. That roof's not too bad. It's got a flat front and a slanted side. That's pretty much realistic. It's not a pyramid like that. Now let's get a little more into detail, where we're going to start the very basics of using different colors and materials, and here we have a stone roof instead of a wood roof. So now the roof stands out a little more. So that's kind of nice how the roof stands out. So let's take a look behind us here at this building here, and that's a little better, isn't it? It's not necessarily good, but compared to that over there, it looks like a house. So you walk in, and it's got this huge roof, but we'll get more to that later, making that look good. There's no ceiling anymore, it's just the roof. We'll get on to making ceilings later when we talk more about the interior design part of building. But it's still kind of weird. Now, what could we do to make this better? Well, we could do something like this, which is more like a shanty kind of roof. We could slant it just like we did with the door, move just the tip over to the side and make it look stylized. Or we can decide to do something completely different, which is where, if you remember, in the shapes video, where we talked about the different ratios over there, triangles, all these houses so far have been square. That right there, I talked about triangles. So I went ahead and I changed the house a little bit to be going from square to being rectangle. So this right here is rectangular. Instead of making it 7 wide by 7 deep, I made it 13 wide by 7 deep. So it looks a little better like that. Now, don't worry about the windows. I'll get to them later. That's obviously not how I want it to be. Now, you could either put your door like this. Now you open it up, you walk in, and it's just a huge room in that direction. Or you could put your door over on this side and have this part of the house facing you. You walk in, and it's very deep instead of wide. Now, while I'm here talking about window placement, there's a few things you want to know about windows. Now, first of all, you do not want to put a window right next to a door like this. That's just weird. So let's go and replace that. You also don't want to put a window right next to a flat wall, if that makes any sense, because that looks kind of odd too. You want to have on the inside a little bit of a barrier right there. So you want to have that. Now, you also want to make sure your windows are pretty much the same, in uniform. You don't want to have something like this, a window of 3 and a window of 2. That's just weird. Now, you also don't want to have something like that. Obviously, like I just said, don't put windows over there. So we could do this. Whoops. We could do that. We could also do something like this. Whoops. Something like that. I don't know. We could do something like this. And in this case, you've got 2 blocks between the door and the glass, 2 blocks between the glass, and 2 blocks between the glass and the edge of the house, which makes it look a little better. But on the inside, you've got 2, 2, 1, which looks kind of odd. So you got to keep that in mind. So let's just change this back, and we'll stick with the 3 for right now. We'll stick with the 3. So that's not too bad. Also, something you don't really want to do because it just looks kind of tacky is that. I mean, that's just kind of weird. Think about realistic windows. Most of us probably have wide windows and some tall windows, but this house isn't made for tall windows, so we'll have wide windows. So that's basically all I have to say about roofs. It's a pretty short video. For right now, anyway, until we start talking about more things like depth and detail and color usage, we'll get more into roofs later with more detailed roofs. But these are the very basic roof styles and design, and so yeah, we'll get more into roofs, and we'll update the roof a little bit in our next video, where we talk about depth. So I'll catch you guys later then. Laters.